All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to trace the wild, kind of unpredictable journey of an idea. We're going to see how the absolute messiest, most chaotic questions can sometimes lead to the biggest, most valuable breakthroughs. Okay, so let's just dive right in. It all kicked off with a really simple, almost silly problem. I mean, look at that question. It seems totally trivial on the surface, right? But as you're about to see, it spirals into something, wow, so much deeper.
And this whole explainer, it really just follows a single conversation. But it's a conversation that proves a huge point. You gotta trust the messy, chaotic process of creating something new. Letting one thought just crash right into another, because that is where you get completely unexpected and really powerful results.
Okay, first section. So, how did this whole thing even start? Well, it began with a playful, super high energy, and, let's be honest, a frankly absurd search for a name. So, this first wave of ideas, it was a perfect reflection of that starting energy, just chaotic, funny, and beautifully unhinged. You can literally see the pure, unfiltered brainstorming right here. I mean, names like A Beautiful Catastrophe of Humans? Come on, that perfectly captures that initial spark, doesn't it? But then, things took a really fascinating turn. This simple act of trying to name a group, it evolved into this deep philosophical exploration. And it all happened through a series of really powerful, evolving metaphors.
So the first big metaphor that came up was the prism. The idea here was that this group would act just like a crystal prism. It would take a single beam of light, maybe one idea, or one person, or one story, and it would reveal the entire, often hidden spectrum inside.
And this is where that whole prism metaphor got really, really interesting. Because it wasn't just about seeing pretty rainbows. Nope. It was about confronting the raw, unfiltered truth. It was about refracting that full, uncomfortable, and brilliant spectrum of human emotion. The stuff people usually try to hide. This is awesome. This slide really shows a crucial evolution in their thinking. The metaphor actually shifted. It went from the prism, which is passive, right? Something that just happens to you, it exposes you, to the mask. And the mask is something you actively choose to wear. So you're seeing a move from vulnerability to agency, from just being revealed to deciding what you want to reveal. That is empowering. So after spiraling through all these abstract ideas, these powerful metaphors, the conversation finally landed on a single powerful principle. It was like this moment of brutal clarity that just crystallized out of all the chaos, and it became the group's unshakable foundation. And that clarity led them to a really crucial question. After all of this, after all the complexity with the masks and the prisms, what is the one rule that governs everything? What is this space actually for? And the answer? Well, it was surprisingly blunt. And you know what? Refreshingly honest. It wasn't about saving each other. It was this radical commitment to self-responsibility. It's a recognition that, hey, everyone is on their own journey. You see, this one simple rule created a workshop, not a hospital. It's a space that's built on mutual trust, where everyone is expected to be their own hero. It's basically a permission slip to focus on your own inner work, and that frees you from the totally impossible burden of trying to fix everybody else. And now for the final and really surprising twist. This deep philosophical journey into the self, it provided the absolute perfect foundation for a completely different idea. We're talking a tangible product, a business plan. Yeah, they had this light bulb moment where they realized this entire philosophy of embracing chaos, of radical self-responsibility, it was perfectly suited for a very specific audience. The creative, maybe neurodivergent, wonderfully scattered minds who, live with 30 browser tabs open at all times. And that realization led to this really clear, actionable onboarding process. Now, what's important here is that it's not designed to fix a chaotic brain. Not at all. Instead, it's a system to channel its power. So you start with a totally judgment-free brain dump. Then you visually contain the chaos so it's not so scary. Then you cluster and play with the fun parts. And finally, you protect that time to go deep. It actually honors the way these brains work instead of trying to fight it. This whole journey just goes to show that the messy, nonlinear, unpredictable process, that's not a bug in creativity. It's a feature. The most profound ideas often kick off with the silliest questions. So that really just leaves one final question for you. What incredible concept, what unbreakable rule, what brilliant business plan is hiding inside your own beautiful chaos?